All right, folks, what is going on? Back with another video, and hopefully you guys had a phenomenal weekend. My weekend was great. Had time to spend with the family, did some great things, did some barbecuing. We went out and spent some time together. Everything was absolutely phenomenal. I really enjoyed this weekend. Also, I was able to upgrade my PC, which what this video was about. I'm going to talk about what happened with that situation because it was very interesting. And yeah, PC gaming is phenomenal, but it does have its moments. I would just say that. So if this is your first time here, welcome. I talk about gaming and everything under that umbrella. Hopefully you guys will enjoy the video. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. And yeah, let's get into this video here. Basically, I took a 3900X that I had in here in my computer. I took that and the motherboard out and the RAM. I took all of that out and I upgraded to a 7500X X3D, which is a phenomenal chip. I upgraded a motherboard to a B850. I'm pretty much set if I want to upgrade for the foreseeable future. It looks like I'm going to be good for the next, maybe, 10 years, maybe, depending on the situation when it comes to this computer. And what I did was I bought a bundle. Shout out to Micro Center. I'll put the link down in the description where you can get this bundle if you're interested. I got the bundle with the motherboard, the CPU, and one stick of 16 gigabyte RAM, which we'll talk about that in a little bit as well. Based on this bundle for $200, I got a steal because the RAM itself was priced at $399. Believe it or not, so it was kind of crazy how I got this deal. So if you're looking for something that to upgrade, this may be the way to go. Link down in the description. Well, I took everything out, put the new motherboard, put the new RAM, put the new CPU in. I took it out, built the new one back in, put all the cords back together. Everything was running fine. But little did I know, which I should have done this, did my due diligence, which, you can get away with this. I'm not saying that you can't get away with it, but you have to be careful when getting away with this. I did not reinstall the OS. So the OS was still on one hard drive that, it is what it is. So I booted it up. Everything was fine. There's nothing wrong with the actual operating system. Everything was running great. But sometimes I know, like every other time I went in, it would tell me that it's missing a file. It's missing a file. You need to recover. You need to recover. So I was like, okay, I'll recover by putting the actual, Windows 11, thumb drive in, and it will take whatever file I need. Cool. Me being not too savvy about that because this never happened to me, I thought that was going to be the case. Well, it did work for a little bit. At some point, it just stopped working. It wasn't, doing that or whatever. So I had to make a recovery thumb drive, which I did. I did the recovery thumb drive, and I put the recovery thumb drive in to actually, fix what was going on. And I'm thinking this is going to be a pretty quick fix, which it pretty much was. But the problem was it didn't necessarily recover the OS that was on the original hard drive that was on. Well, it did fix it, but what it did as well is actually swap the OS. It fixed it off of one hard drive and put it on another hard drive, basically wiping out that hard drive that I wasn't using my OS for, which, like I said, that was not too much of a big deal. There was some images, some videos that I was using, like the intro to this video or whatever. That stuff was kind of like in there, and it formatted and created a new OS. Okay, fine. I don't have a problem with that. Recovery mode, everything's good, it's running, everything's fine. But like I said, it got rid of a lot of stuff. One of the things it got rid of was my AMD drivers for my graphics card. It took out all the drivers for the graphics card. So I'm not thinking, I'm just saying, okay, whatever. All I know is the OS is working again, even though that's an issue within itself, which I'll talk about in a second. I tried to go back and play Forza Horizon 6 because, this was the main reason why I changed over my my whole PC basically. And I was like, well, what's going on? There's memory leaks. I'm not using enough, RAM. I thought I have enough RAM. It says the recommended standard 16 gigabytes of RAM. What is going on? Well, that's when I realized that the AMD drivers were gone. All that was gone. And that's when it just wiped out all of that stuff. And I thought, like, okay, if it's in my, if I was in my graphics card, I should be fine. But no, I have to reinstall the drivers and all that. And then I also realized that the hard drive that the OS is on now, it is on a spindle drive. That ain't happening. I need my OS on a SSD. So what I had to do again, I end up using I used a hard drive clone situation where I cloned the hard drive from one hard drive to the original OS again. So the old OS, the SSD that I was using for the OS, I cloned that back over to that SSD. I mean, and did that. That was fine. And I end up putting the drivers back on to the spindle drive because, like I said, I use the OS. I use the SSD for OS and gaming, and the spindle drives basically just for images or whatever. And so I had to flip all of that, and then once I did that, that's when I got everything back in order. So now the games are running fine, everything is good, or whatever the case may be. But like I said, I was going to talk about the 16 gigabyte of RAM. DDR5, it is great, not no problems, but it's just not enough. I don't care what anybody says. You're going to need at least 32 or better, in my opinion. You're just going to need 32 or better if you're going to be gaming. So I'm probably going to be in the I'm going to be in shopping for another stick of RAM at some point, and that's expensive. Now, don't get me wrong, I can get away with it. Like the footage you see on the screen is me running the game. There is some stutter still there. I think that the stuttering is somewhat of an AMD issue. I don't know, but I know good and well that it's gotten a little bit better, but I think it's an AMD graphics card issue. I don't know. I don't know what the stuttering is about. Maybe it's a driver issue or whatever. I don't know. But nevertheless, I'm still having a great time with the game. I am able to play it at higher settings now because my 3900X was like screaming when I was playing the game. And also the 5700 XT that I have in this rig, that's gonna have to go at some time soon because right now that is screaming while I'm playing the game. Like it is up to like 98. Now it's using the full potential of this graphics card just for me to run this game at 1440p medium, and sometimes they have to be low, and I have to tweak the settings because the 5700 XT is just it can work. Don't get me wrong, it works, but the way I want to play this game, the way this game looks, I need this thing to be on 1440p ultra. Or at the bare minimum at this point. I said I want to play at 1440p minimum, but now I wanted to play on 1440p high or ultra, or even at 4K. And I know I can do that with the 7500X 3D. But listen, I already know that I'm going to probably have to get a 9070 XT, or I may even go even larger if I can find this one. I might get the 7900 XTX graphics card. And once I get that, I may just continue to upgrade my CPU. But at that point, I am good for a very long time because that 7900 XTX, that thing is a monster. And they're like very hard to find. It's like $1,000 graphics card. And I don't know if I'm ready to pull the trigger on that, but that's where I'm probably going to be headed to at some point. Also, like I said, I'm okay with a 70, with a 9070. I'm okay even with the 9060 XC. I'm good at either one, but all in all, I am happy with what I've done. If you are a PC gamer, you kind of know where I'm going at. You probably been there before, and I know there's some people probably in the comment section by now already saying, "Oh, you did this wrong." But it is always that way. Nobody's perfect at this, and when you are building your own rig, that's the beauty about it. I love building these type of things and watching games play on them or playing the games that's on them. That's what makes this for me, it makes it fun. I got this rig with all the rainbow setups and all this other stuff, and I love the way it looks. The RGB looks great. The games play phenomenal, and even with my 7500 X3D going in with the 5700 XT, I can still play some great games right now. I just think in the near future, probably within the next 3 to 4 months, I'm going to have to get a 9070, or I'm going to have to get um the one I said I wanted to get, the 7900 XTX, and I definitely going to have to get some more RAM because the 16 gigs is okay, but it ain't enough. It's absolutely not enough. But with that being said, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Do you have any experiences of building a PC? Sometimes I try to cut corners. I get carried away. Sometimes I just forget about stuff. And this is a little bit of all of that when I came to pick up these parts and put this in my rig. But nevertheless, everything in this is just running great. I love the way it's going. I am here for it. I love it. And I cannot complain at the end of the day. But nevertheless, you guys let me know what you guys think. And I will get up out of here. Y'all take it easy and y'all be blessed. Peace.